The cosmos has its own mode of transportation, one that's been carrying signals across the universe for billions of years: light. Light travels at a breathtaking 299,192 kilometers per second. It paints our world with colors, enables us to see distant stars, and allows us to communicate across vast distances. But what if the rules were rewritten? What if there was something out there that could take the cosmic express to 11? Spoiler alert, it's sound. Yeah, that's right. In this episode of Other Side, we're going to talk about what would happen if sound traveled faster than light. And while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. First off, let's tackle the big question. Could sound actually travel faster than light? The answer, thanks to some theoretical physics, is kind of yes. Sound needs a medium to travel, whether that's air, water, or a solid like a telephone wire. Now here's the catch. While light can zip through the vacuum of space, our familiar sounds cannot. They just need something to move through. But what if we had a special super material that could transmit sound waves faster than the speed of light? It might sound crazy, but Einstein himself suggested that sound could hypothetically break the cosmic speed limit. He theorized that gravitational waves, ripples in the fabric of space-time caused by massive celestial objects, could potentially carry information faster than light. One day, scientists may find a way to harness these waves to send messages faster than the speed of light. So maybe, just maybe, if we could ride those gravitational waves, sound could join them. Now let's jump into how this could change our world. Have you ever been outside during a thunderstorm? You see a flash of lightning, then a few seconds later you hear the rumble of thunder. This is because light reaches your eyes much faster than the sound reaches your ears. In fact, if the flash of lightning is 5 kilometers away, you'll see it about 17 milliseconds before you hear the thunder. So when it comes to traveling faster than light, sound is definitely not the hero of this story. But what if the tables were turned? If sound suddenly found a turbo boost and started traveling faster than light, our everyday experiences would turn into thrilling sci-fi plots. Imagine standing under that same thunderstorm, watching the lightning flash, and this time, before you even see the flash, you hear a booming clap of thunder. In this topsy-turvy world, the thunder would reach you faster than the lightning flash. It's a mind-bending concept that challenges our everyday reality. Our brains are wired to associate certain events with each other based on the speed of light. We see the lightning and almost simultaneously hear the thunder. It's a well-established pattern that helps us understand the world around us. But if this pattern was broken, our brains would have to rewrite this association. It would be like learning a new language where the syntax is completely different. Your brain would need to make new connections, new pathways to process these reversed sensory inputs. This could lead to a lot of confusion, a lot of sensory overload, especially in situations that involve rapid visual or auditory cues. But beyond the immediate confusion, there could be long-term effects. Over time, our brains are capable of adapting to new realities. If we lived in a world where sound always outran sight, our senses would adjust accordingly. We might start to rely more on our hearing, developing a heightened sense of sound sensitivity and discernment. Just like we can tell where a sound is coming from without even turning our heads, we might develop similar instincts for other aspects of our environment. For example, our sense of direction could improve dramatically. In such a world, being able to accurately perceive sounds would be crucial for our survival. Imagine having the ability to distinguish between the rustle of leaves and the snap of a twig, allowing you to navigate your surroundings with ease. It's like having a built-in GPS system, except it's all in your ears. In this brave new world, traditional two-way radios would be useless. The officer giving instructions would be long gone before the message was received. Instant sound transmission would change everything. Music would be experienced differently. Instead of playing an entire song to hear our favorite part, we could listen to individual notes or chords played instantly from different parts of the orchestra. Think about that. This could also extend to our everyday conversations. Instead of patiently waiting for our turn to speak, we could talk over each other and still understand every word. It's like multitasking, but for talking. But wait, there's more. This also means that we could be talking to someone on the other side of the planet and they would hear us instantly. No more scheduling calls around different time zones or sending text messages to avoid waking someone up. We could talk whenever we wanted, no matter where they were. It sounds great, doesn't it? But like any major change, there would be challenges. What would happen to vision? If sound became the dominant sense, sight could take a back seat. Picture a world where sound travels faster than light. You're watching a movie, a particularly intense scene, and you see the explosion on the screen. But before you can process what you're seeing, you hear the explosion, feel the rumble in your chest, and maybe even smell the burning debris. All of these sensations come together to create a more immersive experience. It's like stepping into the movie and feeling the emotions firsthand. But if the roles were reversed, if the sound of the explosion reached you before you saw the visual cue on the screen, it could be quite jarring. Imagine sitting in a dark room watching a movie where the audio is slightly out of sync. You'd probably feel disoriented, confused, and possibly a little nauseated. This is because our brains rely heavily on visual cues to process what we're seeing and hearing. When the two don't match up, it creates a sense of unease. In a world where sound always arrives first, our brains would have to work overtime to reconcile these differences. It would be like trying to watch a movie with a constantly unreliable narrator. You'd have to question everything you heard until you saw the visual evidence. This brings us to a pivotal point. If sound outruns sight, would our brains eventually stop relying on vision? Just as we learned to speak long before we could write, we might begin to communicate primarily through sound. This could lead to a society where spoken word and sign language take center stage, while writing and painting fade into the background. It's a fascinating idea, but it also raises questions about how we process information and make decisions. If we start making choices based solely on what we hear rather than what we see, what happens to our ability to think critically and objectively? Does our judgment become clouded by the persuasive power of sound? These are questions that have kept philosophers awake at night. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Scientists use light to study the universe. With telescopes, they peer deep into space, analyzing the light from distant stars and galaxies. But what if they were working with sound? If sound could travel faster than light, astronomers could use sonic telescopes to listen to the music of the cosmos. Imagine hearing the birth of a star or the death throes of a galaxy. It's a universe full of soundscapes rather than star maps. But how would this change our understanding of the universe? Would we still measure distances in light years if sound was our primary mode of astronomical measurement? Would we talk about the Doppler effect for sound waves instead of light? It's a complete shift in perspective. And now let's bring it closer to home. If you lived in a world where sound outran light, how would you experience life? Would you find ways to exploit this ability to hear things before you see them? Or would it be more of a hindrance than a help? Perhaps you'd invest in sonic camouflage to avoid unwanted eavesdroppers. Or maybe you'd develop a sonic radar system to navigate your surroundings. Either way, it would be a fascinating challenge. So let's wrap this up. A universe where sound travels faster than light is a world turned upside down. It makes you question everything you know about the universe. It forces you to rethink the very essence of reality. So we ask you, would you want to live in such a world? Or would you stick to the one where light still reigns supreme? Let us know in the comments below. As we conclude this journey into the realm of sonic supremacy, remember this is just one of infinite realities. There are countless other universes where the laws of nature play out in different ways, and we've only just begun to scratch the surface. At Other Side, we love exploring these alternate possibilities, and we'd love for you to join us on this journey. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep thinking outside the box, and remember, reality is just a starting point. Who knows, maybe in another universe you're hearing this right now.